A mile and a half north of Sevenoaks, Dunton Green's village station was the start of the 4.5-mile Westerham branch. The usual train was a two-coach push-pull set powered by an H-class tank, but as will be apparent, there appeared several different types of old coaches which had been adapted for push-pull use. The guard's duties included the inspection and sale of tickets. Before the development of portable machines, tickets were written by hand in a pocket-sized book. Only a mile to the north lay the escarpment of the North Downs. The camera pans right to Poll Hill, which descends into the Darrant Valley. After 1.5 miles of fairly level run, we reached Chevening Halt. On leaving Chevening, the engine faced the only appreciable gradient on the branch. "22.25 miles from Charing Cross. The summit of the line was in this cutting. The sidings here at Braisted were used by a coal merchant serving a large area until almost the line's closure in 1961. Braisted had been a staffed station until 1955, after which Halt was added to the name. Towards the end, service on this branch was restricted to morning and evening rush hours during the week, but trains ran all day on Saturdays. This particular set was unusual. The passenger doors opened inwards. That confused many unfamiliar to these rural branches. The single line token is delivered to the signalman as the train arrives at Westerham. Once passengers had alighted, the train would be back to the water column if a top-up was required. Meanwhile, the signalman was, with the cooperation of his Dunton Green colleague, withdrawing the miniature train staff prior to returning it to the driver. It was the authority to occupy the single-track line. Actually, the goods yard exit signal. An exchange of bell signals between the driver and fireman at opposite ends of the train for departure. And the signalman exchanged train entering section, 2 beats on the bell. After the Westerham branch closed in 1961, a serious attempt was made to turn it into a heritage line, but the authorities later stepped in to include most of its route in the M25 motorway. So from here onwards you may drive along this route, but which part of the so much greater width of the motorway had been occupied by the railway? At some time in the past, this embankment must have subsided a little, as it has been levelled up with ashes. Many residents of the Westerham and Braested area commuted into London, but few of them used this line. Dunton Green was served only by stopping trains. Those who drove to Sevenoaks could travel on a fast service. Alternatively, by driving west to Oxted, they could catch a train to Croydon and Victoria. After a speedy descent, brakes are applied for Chevening halt. The town of Westerham has two historic attractions. 2 miles to the south is Chartwell, home of Sir Winston Churchill, and in Westerham itself is Quebec House, family home of General Wolfe, hero of a much older conflict. Until construction of the Sevenoaks bypass, the main road from London to Hastings passed over this bridge. During Saturday's all-day service, the morning's engine would be replaced around midday by a fresh one from Tunbridge Shed,